You're Tammy Nash.
I'm editor of Dallas Voice. And David Taffet couldn't be here with us today. That's what I was trying
That
to
is
say.
what, yes.
This is Brandy Amara Sky and Tori Martin and Israel Luna, who are with us today for this week's DVTV in Space.
Yes.
I feel funny saying welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, welcome to the round table.
But, we saw you earlier today because we were doing photo shoots. I still don't even know what it's for, but they look good.
Your pictures will be in the paper.
Oh. Did you know that?
Advertising DVTV in Space. Yes.
And on the website as well.
Gotcha.
So if you don't like something that we say on this show, you'll be able to click on our picture, contact us directly, and complain.
Yeah,
so you no longer have to go through Tammy Nash or David Taffet. So that's a good thing.
And I like that. I really love that. The best picture, her hair straight up.
Yeah. Terry was like, okay, so for this one, I'm gonna say go, and you're gonna bend your head like this, and then just go. So my hair is like literally.
Oh, I want to see.
Yeah,
that's a good picture.
It's a good one.
And then, Brandy, you gave me.
Yes.
That I didn't know came with my photo shoot.
It came with your photo shoot. What is it, Israel?
Ooh.
It's a big gay fan of the Dallas Voice. Now, are y'all going to be giving away?
At the parade.
So
we have a few hundred of them. They'll be gone in like 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah, they'll be gone. They'll be gone real quick. So if you want one of those, then check out the parade. We should also probably give one, maybe a couple away live at JR's for our live show next week.
Next week we will.
Yeah.
We'll do that. So big story this week was not supposed to be the story that I had as my big story, but it's the one that I wrote in about 10 minutes. It took me to actually type it. That's what everybody is contacting me today, that you did such a great job on that story. That's nice. I typed it and said to Tammy, here, I don't even have time to edit myself.
And it's been getting the biggest attention.
Been getting all kinds of attention. Okay, so here's what's going on. City Council earlier this week voted to take down the statue of Robert E. Lee in Lee Park. I think it would have been easier just cut off her head, put a new head of Brenda Lee on, and
I remember,
we don't have to change the name of the park, nothing.
Yeah.
Good point.
Good point.
One of the problems with hauling this statue away is it's 14 feet high. It's going onto the bed of a truck. The truck came up to about my waist. And so it's going to be 14 plus whatever. Most underpasses are about 14 feet. I'm not sure how they're going to get it.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Wow, that's true.
I didn't even think about the underpass. Like you actually have to get through.
To get out of Oak Lawn. You go under underpasses. So how they're going to do it, don't know, don't care, just getting rid of it.
Right.
The history of the statue. This statue was actually placed in 1936 by the Dallas Southern Memorial Association, which was a branch of the Ku Klux Klan. It was placed during a period when it was during the Depression, but we were kind of coming out of the Depression at that time, so people could afford things again, like some public art. And they placed this picture. It's also a time of intense racism. The Klan was resurgent at this period, and they placed this statue. They also built Arlington Hall, which is a replica of Robert E. Lee's home.
And I didn't know that either. Like I just found that out, like when this whole statue, because I'm not from Dallas, but I heard that it was a replica of his house, and I was like, oh well, what are they going to do with that if they take down the statue? And then there's also
there's some ideas, and with that, in the 1990s, they rebuilt the house and enlarged it in the back. And that doesn't resemble Robert E. Lee's house anymore. Well, the front needs some renovation too. It's older. It's starting to show its age. And I'm not saying that this has nothing to do with Robert E. Lee. It could use some renovation. Well, while they're renovating, they could change the look a little bit and pull it out forward a little bit, and that would change it. It would be a shame to just tear it down.
Yeah.
We use the park.
Yeah. So have you gotten any pushback from your article that you wrote?
I got more pushback when I was in the park, watching on Wednesday, watching them tear it down until, and here's what the problem was. The crew came, the crane came. It's this huge crane with an arm that extends, and they took it, swung it around over to the statue, and they put a harness underneath the horses. They were supposed to lift it up. In the 1930s, the way statues were placed was they built a pedestal and they placed the statue on top of the pedestal. And it was not supposed to be secured down. Well, we found out on Wednesday as they were trying to lift it, there were two big bolts
So it is secured down.
So, and then once they got the bolts, and that took an hour or two to cut those off, they found, they also cemented it down.
Oh my God.
So these workers are working with these crowbars trying to get it up from the base, and they said they were about a half an hour away from actually cracking it away from the base when a restraining order came in. Somebody who lives in Dallas, has lived here for about 25 years, was going to suffer irreparable harm if the statue was removed, because you know how statues cause irreparable harm when
Absolutely.
they're not there.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I can feel it right now.
Yeah.
But other statues that, when they move, you know what happens to you sometimes,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Okay,
I
'cause
feel it right
statues
here. I feel it right here.
Well, this person who was going to suffer irreparable harm decided when all this came about a few weeks ago to go and actually see the statue. That's how much the statue meant to him,
Okay.
because he saw it a couple of weeks ago for the first time after
First
living in
time ever.
Dallas for 25 years.
Okay.
And
I can see your.
an attorney from Sons of the Confederacy, an attorney from North Carolina, came and filed this lawsuit, got an injunction. Yeah, why from North Carolina?
The lawsuit saying what?
That this guy was going to suffer irreparable
If it was
harm
removed.
If it was removed.
Oh my God.
Because that's my point. Statues do that to you.
Right. Anyone can sue for anything. Winning is a different story.
Well,
but
he
for
didn't.
$50, you can sue for anything.
He didn't.
So
In
who
the
cares?
meantime, this crane went away. Yesterday, after the injunction was lifted, the crane couldn't come back because there was just too much traffic.
Oh.
And it's still there today. It'll probably go away either tonight or over the weekend.
You think it's going to happen within the next couple of days?
They want it gone. There were 100 police officers or so protecting the park, protecting the statue. They had credible threats. I mean, it wasn't just, and it wasn't from our side. These were credible threats
I wouldn't think so.
of violence. There
Now-
were snipers up on the roofs to protect the park. There were officers with machine guns. It was not pretty.
Well, what I've seen is, or just from the photos that I've seen, and the live feeds of people saying, "Hey, look, they're taking it down," is I haven't seen any people picketing or protesting like they have, in other
Here's
cities.
how they were protesting.
Yeah.
Standing on the side of the road, and one car comes down the street, down Hall Street, blasting Dixie from his car. These people were chicken shit. They weren't gonna. They were not gonna just.
Can the
mix and
Dallas
mingle in
voice
the
say that?
I don't think so. Somebody
Not
else
me, Tammy, not me.
on a motorcycle rides down the street in a Nazi helmet, screaming anti-Semitic things.
Oh, my God.
Now that's the part I loved, which I put into this piece.
That's
part
like
I loved about
comedic.
it was. I get that you're anti-Semitic. I get you're a Nazi. Stop equating that with the Confederacy, because actually more Jews fought on the side of the South than the North, because Jewish immigration to New York didn't start till after the Civil War.
Oh,
This is where Jews lived.
didn't know that either.
Do you know, and I put this in here too, the first Jewish congressman in the United States was David Kaufman, which Kaufman County is named after. Dallas's first congressman was Jewish. Isn't that odd?
Wow.
But they don't know any of this.
Of course
No,
not, because,
I mean-
because
that might
these
actually matter.
Confederate statues are all about learning your history, right?
Right.
Yeah, they don't
And
know
preserving
it.
your
And by
history.
conflating Nazism with the Confederacy, and it just, the reason I want these gone isn't because the statue bothers me. It's because these white supremacists are using these statues as a gathering place and a rallying point.
Yeah,
for
it's a
their
rallying
hatred.
cry. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
And what upsets me is, knowing that statue's been there the entire time I've lived in Dallas. I never knew who he was. And this is for me passing my history classes in junior high and high school, but I don't ever once remember any of the teachers teaching, they were fighting to keep slaves. They were fighting to own other people that they felt were below. It was never worded that way to me. And it was just this vague war that happened. And I think it's because of how they taught it. And it makes me mad.
Representative Eric Johnson is trying to get rid of a plaque that's in the state capitol. And in the plaque, it's talking about the causes of the war, and in parentheses it says, "And slavery was not a cause of the Civil War." This is in the Capitol.
Only in Texas. I kind of feel like
Right?
it's one of those things that it's only in Texas. Only in Texas can you
Now, I
get.
want that plaque preserved somewhere
You right?
because
Just to be like, this is how idiotic we were back in R
in Texas.
R in Texas. Yeah, we still are.
So now, what I'm wondering is, how should we react to people who want the statue to stay? Can we officially say, well, they're pretty much for racism? They're pretty much for,
not everybody. I think a lot of people who haven't thought about the issue, who haven't been affected by the issue, who are not discriminated against because they're gay, who have not been discriminated against because they're Jewish or because they're black or because for any other or Hispanic or anything else. I think a number of people, it's just been in the park for a long time. It's a beautiful statue. It is well designed. It is well executed. It's on a wonderful pedestal designed by Mark Lemon, who Lemon Avenue is named after. There's so much of that kind of history. I don't think most people have ill intentions.
Well,
There are plenty, though.
my issue comes in with, like, I have never realized how many, I don't want to, they're not really necessarily racist. They don't know that they're racist, but they are racist. White gay males on my Facebook who are so appalled that they are erasing history. And what this has shown me is that there's really a disconnection between the white gay community, the white male gay community, and the actual community of color, the queer community of color, because they don't understand that it's not a preservation of history. It's not that they're trying to get rid of that. Like you said, I mean, you can put that in a museum, you can put that, elsewhere, where they're trying to take away the rallying cry, like the place and point of that kind of.
And the intimidation and reminder of what it was.
Of
That's what it is.
To other people.
Because statues are more of a celebration. Because if a little kid walks by a statue, it's like, ooh, what did this wonderful person do?
Right.
We are
It's
out
not
of
art.
time.
Yeah.
We'll be back with more DVTV and Spayse in just a couple of minutes.
Oh.
Voice.
Hi, Tammy.
Not
Hi,
as
Tammy.
easy to do that. Brandy Amara Sky, Israel Luna, and Tori Martin. Tori, you are a screenwriter.
Film editor typically by trade, but I also do some screenwriting sometimes.
But you just wrote a screenplay, and it's going to be produced.
I did, yes.
And Israel's not doing it because you hate him.
She hates me.
That is accurate. I'm kidding.
Tell us a little bit about the story.
So it's based on my true experience of growing up in a small town in a Southern Baptist church, very religious family.
So you must have had a good experience.
It was wonderful. I came out of it completely unharmed.
Right. Not mentally scarred for life at all.
No, but in reality, to most people's, no one was really surprised, I guess, when I tell them that it was very traumatic. So the story kind of starts off, the first scene is in a church, kind of with a sermon about homosexuality and how it's sinful and this, that, and the other. And you see the main character, kind of tensing up and being uncomfortable. And that was my reality. That was years and years of me sitting in church, that kind of thing. And so that's kind of how I start the script off. And it basically just kind of goes through points of my coming out story. So like moments when my mother showed that she was very unloving and unaccepting, and then the actual like coming out part where I said in the last show that, I kind of like to say that I fell out or I was yanked out of the closet more than anything, because what happened was I was in the backyard with my girlfriend, and we were
making out.
Yeah.
like teenagers do, and my mother walked out on us, and she was mortified, very angry. Ran back into the house, and my first instinct, it kind of was just adrenaline at that point, and I ran after her, and thinking maybe that I could have a logical conversation with her, which, I realize now was not going to happen, but I chased after her nonetheless, and ran into her bedroom, and she had a gun pointed at me. And like I said, disclaimer, I don't know if it was a real gun or not. It was a handgun, so it could have been an airsoft gun for all I know, but nonetheless a gun-shaped object. And so my first instinct was to just move, because I didn't know if she was going to shoot. Yeah, that's kind of what happened.
Do you have any kind of relationship with her now?
People are surprised when I tell them yes.
No.
But it's still on the rocks sometimes. She's learning to accept me in her own way. But that was 6.5 years ago. And she's kind of just now at a place where we can talk about it. And so it just kind of takes time. But yeah.
Do you have a father?
Mm-hmm.
What's his reaction?
His reaction was not good either when it first happened. But and he and I kind of are at a place now where we don't really speak about it. It's one of those things where he's still very religious. He has very right wing political views, kind of thing, and so it's kind of one of those things that we just don't discuss right now.
Okay, so coming from left-wing religion, what about the concept that God created everybody?
That's definitely where my beliefs lie right now, that, God created everybody as they are and like as he intended them to be, kind of thing. But no one in my family really holds that view, so it's difficult.
What about other people in your family? Any relationship with them, cousins or?
Yeah. I mean, I have an aunt and uncle that live in the area. I see them sometimes, love them dearly. And cousins too. My cousins are accepting, which is fantastic. But pretty much my entire family on both sides, they are very religious, and I love them all, and I, they love me, and I respect them, and I think they respect me, and that's kind of the most important thing for me, is to just have a relationship where it's like respectful and loving, and I just understand that we just can't talk about that. I just can't talk about these things with them, because I don't want it to turn into some kind of, war. You're
not trying to provoke them.
Yeah.
And you want to respect their beliefs.
Yeah, of course. And so it's really hard.
You just want them to respect who you are as well.
Right, yeah. So. And it's kind of a struggle finding that middle ground. I have family members that will say, you know, I still love you, but we're just going to have to agree to disagree. And in some ways that's hard to hear, but, you know, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I'll take what I can get.
And my struggle with like hearing this stories like this, and then Brandy's, which has a lot of similarities with the very religious family, is how much should we try to educate and create that conversation? Because I know I did when I first came out with my family. Now, of course, my family is not your family. So, you know, I guess my struggle is, should they sort of push the issues a little bit and say, well, let me question this? And, you know, just to get them to talk about it, even if you continue.
It's valid. No. That's completely valid. And I've thought about that. But for me, it all goes back to kind of like what you said. I don't want the relationship to blow up. And I know my temper, and I am very adamant. I'm a huge activist, and I know how I get when I get impassioned and I get angry, and I don't want to. And I don't want to say things that I'm going to regret later. And I don't want my parents to say things that they're going to regret later. And only with my parents, and my partner, but everybody else, you know, is fair game. But I don't, that relationship is just too special. And I it's not for lack of trying. I think I have tried to have those conversations, but it's just not worth it to me.
It always
I don't
hurts
want to
me
put
when
that
I hear
energy
these
in
kinds
there.
of stories. About 10 years ago, I was home with members of my family, and we're all sitting in the car talking. And I said, "This is just so sad." And they said, "Well, David, what's the matter?" I said, "This is the first time that I've ever been the most conservative person in the room." And recently, one of my cousins was down, and we were talking, and we were talking about coming out, and I never came out to my family, and she just said, "Hello, we know you, we grew up with you."
So you never really
Wasn't a
came
big-
out.
I never did.
Did you come out?
Yes.
How did you come out?
Yeah, I went to my mom, and it wasn't until I moved to Dallas, and I was here for about 3 months, and I knew I was gay, and I thought, all right, now I'm just going to go home and see and tell everyone. So I went and told my mom, hey, you know, I like guys. I think I said
How
it
old were
something
you?
like that, 20.
Oh, so you were 20. You came out later.
Yeah.
And I was living upstate New York and at college, and came back downstate and needed some furniture for an apartment I had just rented. My mother gave me and my boyfriend at the time, a bed and some chairs, and we took it in a truck and trucked it back up to Albany.
Wow.
Never came out, though. I just never had to.
And it was,
So
even though I did come out and say, you know, yes, I'm gay, all of the visits going back home, like when I was dating someone and they were serious enough that I introduced them to my family, there was never an issue of us sleeping in the same bed. Or even an ex-boyfriend that I had a few years ago, his whole family is Mormon, and we were in Salt Lake City with his grandparents, and they said, oh yeah, we fixed the room for you. And it's just never been an issue, because we don't, you know, we're not like in your face with it, like, hey, we're going to hold hands in the living room. We're going to put our hand on this person's lap. It's just not like that. We're just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to say it. Just.
But are you like that in everyday life? Like, are you are you personally like?
No.
Say, I am.
Well,
Okay.
I'm very affectionate.
but see, you're much younger, but Israel's generation
yes.
is much older than us.
Yes, much
How
older.
dare
They
you.
just grew up not to do that
Got
at
it.
all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Right.
I was born in 95, so.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just take it as being a very lucky person that my family.
you know, and Tori,
I have
your
that, yeah.
generation, the idea that you were out in the backyard just making out with your girlfriend and your parents caught you or your mother caught you, you probably wouldn't have done that.
Right. No.
Oh, I don't think I would have. I don't think I would. No. Because I know my parents
And
would
you know
always be
something?
watching me.
I love that you did that.
Yeah.
I do. Not because of the consequences, but that we've come that far.
Yeah.
And you were what, 16, you said?
It was my 16th birthday, actually.
You know, and
What a present.
Wow, I know. Well,
I came out at 19, you came out at 20.
Yeah.
And our years, that was young. There were not a whole lot of other people who were out at our age. So it, made it a little bit difficult. Okay, so you've written the screenplay. Who's producing it?
Shannon Houck is the producer.
And when's it going to be filmed?
We're hoping to film it in November and December. Right now, we're still kind of in the finding locations, getting funding, and then casting, and so.
And how do you find your funding?
Well, we have a little bit so far that I emailed an organization that I was a part of in Florida, and they graciously donated some funding to it.
Good, you got the money out of Florida before the hurricane.
Seriously.
And I think, didn't Tammy or you say something, Brandy, about like somehow that the voice might help her an article
we're
or
definitely
something?
going to write an article on that. I think it's really important that these voices come out and connect with people who need them. So yeah, for sure. We're looking into doing maybe an art article with up and coming filmmakers and writers and stuff.
And you're making it here?
Mm-hmm. Locally, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and especially because, excuse me, you are a lesbian and your age as well. You know, we need more of those types of coming out stories.
I agree.
I think we're lacking those, so I'm glad.
Yeah, and it's
happening.
a story of hope. I said on the last show that I wanted to make it, not to put my story out there and be like, oh, feel sorry for me because I went through this, but more as a sense of it was difficult, but I did work around it, and I'm better now. And so I want to give a story of hope out there that even if you're growing up in a really bad situation where your family's really religious and they're unaccepting and they're threatening your life in a sense with this stuff, you can still find a way to make it through, and you can come out on the other side and you can find happiness. So
good.
That's kind of why I'm doing it, is to hopefully help other people. So.
We're
I love that.
running out of time for this segment, but and stick around with us for the rest of the show because we have hours more to go.
Hours and hours.
But once it's made, you'll let us know, and
Absolutely.
and we'll come on and we'll talk about it again.
Yeah, for sure.
This is DVTV in Spayse. I'm Dave Taffet, and I'm here with Israel, Tori, and Brandy, and we'll be back with more right after this.
I thought.
I'm Tammy Nash, editor of Dallas Voice.
I'm Brandy Amarskye.
I'm Israel Luna.
And Tori Martin is with us today, too.
Oh, no, you're Shannon Hook.
Yeah.
Houck.
Sorry, Shannon. I love you. Houck.
Hurricanes. We suffered through Hurricane Harvey this past week. Coming in is Hurricane Irma, which could destroy Florida. Hopefully,
And Mexico had like an 8.0 earthquake that was going on. So there was an earthquake. There's three hurricanes. There's Hurricane, I think, Katia or Katrina, or not Katrina, but
Katia.
Katia in the Gulf of Mexico. There's Irma, and then there's Jose back in the back, and the wildfires that were happening in California. So it's basically, you know, maybe Ann Coulter is right. Maybe it is a lesbian's fault.
Well, I can tell you, it'll make you feel better that Hurricane Jose will not be hitting the United States because Trump won't allow it.
Exactly. Yeah. He's building that wall. You know, exactly. There's no papers. You know, dreamers. Yeah.
You know, when Mexico offered help for Harvey, what I was expecting the president of Mexico to say was, well, we had these supplies at the border, but we couldn't get them over the damn wall.
I would have loved,
right?
I would have loved that. I would have loved that. Yeah.
So, Joel Osteen is my favorite hero from this.
He's mine too.
So
He's
he
wonderful.
had every excuse not to open his church. One of them was, well, we don't have any kitchen facilities. The place was an arena. It's a church. People get married there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. It used to have McDonald's and other kinds of, but, you know, it's been remodeled. Okay.
Did it
maybe
really?
doesn't-
Did it have restaurants in the inside?
Sure.
I didn't know that.
That thing is massive. Of course, they need.
It was about the size of Reunion Arena, our old arena here in
Yeah.
Dallas. So, yeah.
It is not that big.
Yes.
It's an old arena that he took over.
Mm-hmm. And it's all for his
where
church
the
service.
Rockets used to play.
Yeah.
But he didn't have any kitchen facilities, so he couldn't accommodate people. This Sunday, when he was leading church services, when they passed the plate, they passed it to the refugees who were still.
Yeah.
I saw that. I saw that.
This
You know-
man is disgusting.
It is disgusting.
You know, and I struggled with that because, of course, you know, that is completely ridiculous. If they hadn't have passed one at all, people would be yelling and screaming, going, well, look, he could take this opportunity now that his church is open again to collect money. You know, either way, he was screwed. But yeah, I think it's ridiculous. They should have. Well, then you couldn't have separated the.
Yeah, like
know,
what are you?
it
Yeah,
would've
you're
been
gonna
weird.
separate. Yeah, you can't really make
So
that
it's
divide
tough.
of. But still, at the same time, I mean, he already got rung through Twitter, you know, for not opening up the church and, you know, asking for donations, you know, prior to opening. I mean, you would just think that he would have had some kind of sense of being like
Human.
exactly
Okay,
or Christian.
Here's the other thing. We didn't open because the city didn't ask us to.
Right.
Because as a church, we only do things when we're asked to do them.
Exactly.
When God tells them to do them, David, how dare you question that?
Well, God or the mayor.
Right. Exactly.
Now,
Yeah.
I know there were other examples, but I was following along because I'm friendly with with the gay Jewish group that's down there. So one of the synagogues got hit with some flooding. So do you know what they did?
What?
They opened up the rest of the building to refugees.
Yeah. Yeah.
The part that was flooded, so don't go there, it's flooded.
And that was my thing. Like a lot of people that, you know, support Joel Osteen and who still do, they were rationalizing in the sense of that he couldn't open it because there was so much red tape. You know, you can't just open up your buildings and help. You've got
Yes,
to
you
do
can.
this and no,
Right.
you can. You can open up your if you're in a state of emergency. There's the red tape is gone. It's clear. It's zero. There's
no rules.
tape. There's no rules whatsoever. And so that's the way that they were rationalizing it. The people that I talked to that were Joel Osteen fans and
So what
congregation.
about the other churches?
But that was mine. And Mattress Mike, who I keep going back to because he owned like this mattress, you know, firm, and he just covered his mattresses with blankets and brought everybody in. He
They
didn't
don't
ask
give
permission.
him a Congressional Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm in
Right.
love with this, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
in love with the community and all these people, these business owners, HEB, Southwest. Did y'all just hear that Southwest Airlines took a whole flight, a whole cabin full of animals that were from Houston and sent them, and they flew them out to, I don't know if it was New York or other places, to other shelters. Free of charge. Southwest came to the aid of people that
for them.
that were flying, that were trying to get out of Houston. They opened up some little small airport. They picked up like 500 of their passengers that were
And
stranded.
Delta in Florida raised the fares out of Florida.
$7,000. There was like $7,000. To fly out of Florida.
But you have to understand, as flights get more full, the fares go up.
Yeah.
That was their
They-
excuse.
I was going to say that sounds like something that was like that was rehearsed and then they wrote it down and did a press release very articulate. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I feel like as a community, we should be supporting those people that really supported, you know, our community when they needed it, our Houston neighbors when we needed it. You know, Southwest, I cannot say enough great things about what they're doing during this time. So,
and you know, it's unfortunate because, you know, we have a lot of great things that happen, but then you have like the price gougers.
Yeah.
When you see that and you get them on video, what's their not punishment? What am I trying to say? Their
repercussions.
consequence.
Like, what's the
yeah.
consequence?
Well, price gouging is actually illegal.
Right. So if I were to get someone and take their picture or get them on video, what do I do with this video? Who do I give it to, and how do we proceed with this? You know.
Well, we have a great champion for the underprivileged here in Texas. That would be Ken Paxton, our Attorney General, is the one who would handle that. Nothing's going to happen with it.
Yeah, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
But like I was looking at some of the, like the grocery stores in Florida, like the water, they were selling it for like $25, like a case of water. And I'm like, how is that even possible? It's like when we had our gas apocalypse that just happened like last week.
That happened for like 3 days.
For 3 days.
Here's
but
what I want to know about that. People who report the news here locally, they do buy gas to get to work themselves, right?
You would think so.
So on Wednesday before the storm, I put in gas for $2.23 and noticed it was up 20 cents. 2 days later, it's $2.65, $2.75, and they're reporting that gas is up this week by 15 cents. Where did you learn to do math?
Yeah.
The way I'm figuring it is gas is up 70 cents.
Yeah.
And it's still at $2.65 at almost
It's
every
still-
gas station.
And does anyone know like how it got started? Who started it? Who posted the first one, and then it just grew from there?
I think it was the media. I think it was the news. They said, you know, hey, you might want to get some gas before Labor Day weekend because there might be a shortage. I don't know exactly how they termed it because I didn't actually hear it, but
Here's
I assume
what caused, I think, the shortage. Everybody filled up their tanks, topped off their tanks. Now, right now, driving normally, I have half a tank in my car. I'm not worried about it. But everybody topping off their tanks puts some pressure. Gas companies, not that I would ever accuse an oil company of gouging.
No, never. No, they're Christians, I'm
okay.
sure.
Oh, I'm
Exactly.
sure.
Thank you.
They're big Joel's.
Stopped delivering because they couldn't get to the supply tanks in Houston, except it doesn't come out of Houston. It comes out of local tanks. If we could not get refining going again, well, then there'll be a shortage. But you think that the gas that goes into those trucks came out of Houston last minute, that, oh, we better refine. I just got an order from Racetrack on Inwood Avenue. We better get 100 gallons there.
But see, that's actually doing research and knowing the actual facts of how things work, and people don't know that.
No,
you know,
you hear there may be, you know, gas might go up or there may be a shortage, and people just go apeshit. Like, did you see those pictures going around where they bought those orange buckets and they were filling the gas with just like
just
open
buckets,
containers, just buckets of gas, and I'm like,
come on,
Your
people.
car can catch fire
yeah,
driving
like
around with
why? In what capacity in your mind does that make sense?
By the way, Brandy, someone was commenting on what you were saying about the animals. Ricardo, who was watching, he says, blessings to all of those humans risking their lives rescuing pets.
I
and
agree.
humans.
I completely agree.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up.
But, okay, so they didn't deliver for a weekend. They could have, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Because the weather here, we had the week before one band of the hurricane come through, and we kind of had a little flash flood in 10 minutes, and then about 30 minutes later, the rain was gone. That was it. So, you know, it's tough for them to deliver gas around here.
Right.
So the gas companies didn't deliver gas for a weekend. Everybody panicked, and now people were saying, oh, it's too, as long as it's available. So instead of complaining about being gouged for the gas, people are thrilled that they have the gas available.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And now for the next how many weeks, you know, and I had some people saying, yeah, but they weren't selling any. Right, they didn't sell any for a weekend, and then they're getting...
One weekend. Like,
right. I'm sure they're
that
broke.
additional-
I'm
It's
sure they're
one
broke now.
weekend.
That
Poor.
additional 50 cents a gallon that they're getting is pure profit. They were going to sell it 50 cents a gallon less. You buy 10 to 20 gallons at a
Now,
time.
see, this is the difficult part for just a normal consumer. If I were to go to a gas station and it seems super high, do I go to the employee and say, now, what, can you explain why this is high? They're going to say, no, just move out of the way because there's a line of people.
Yeah.
What do you do at that moment when you want to question it or report them? Because either way, you have to fill up your gas at that moment.
Here's where we have a wonderful advocate for consumers in this state. His name is, I was going to say Greg Abbott. He's former attorney, Ken Paxton. And you file your complaint with the Attorney General's office. You know what'll happen with it?
I'm sure he's going to get right to you really fast and solve it, right?
There was stuff on social media, like there was a number, or maybe that was his direct line.
It's a line.
Like there was a
Consumer
number.
Protection Office.
Okay, that's okay.
In the Attorney General's office.
Yeah.
They're not going to do anything about it. You know they're not going to do anything about it because this be Texas.
Welcome to Texas.
I love Texas. I just hate the politicians.
Uh-huh.
I do too. I love Texas, but
I do too.
I can't stand the politics.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Well, we're almost out of time for this segment.
Yeah,
But I need to vamp for about 30 seconds.
Well, I have half a tank of gas, so I'm okay for the next few days.
I have half a tank as well.
Gas stations have gas right now.
They do now.
I'm just waiting for it to go down. It's not going to for a few weeks.
Yeah, it's not going to.
We're stuck with this price for a while.
Oh my gosh.
And the excuse is, Irma, because gas that is being produced now in Houston, which has nothing to do with gas that goes to the East Coast, is keeping the price of gas up.
Makes perfect sense.
This is DVTV in Spayse, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Seriously. I just don't get it.
Not Tammy Nash.
You're not?
I am not. And
I am not Israel Luna.
And you're not Brandy Amara Sky.
I'm Tori Martin. And I'm a lesbian.
One thing I wanted to mention, Fun Home is coming to the Winspear Opera House for about 2 weeks. That is the cover of Dallas Voice. Wonderful cast. I saw a little piece of it when Out and Equal was here. They brought down a part of the cast to perform a scene from the play, and it was wonderful. This is the national tour, though, so different cast. It's written by Alison Bechtel, whose comic strip Dykes to Watch Out For used to appear in Dallas Voice. So I feel like one of our writers. Yeah,
wow.
one of our writers.
That was my
Broadway.
generation. Yeah.
But on September 19th, I am moderating a panel talking about Dallas gay history. It's going to be at 6 o'clock before the show at the Winspear, and afterwards they're having a pride celebration at the Winspear.
Oh, that's
so
fun.
if you're going to see Fun Home, that would be a great day to do it. It's Tuesday at September 19th.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds like fun.
Very nice. I need to see more shows.
I need to see more shows, and I need to learn more about Dallas's history.
Well, then
since
come,
I'm
and
not-
I'm moderating this panel that I have no idea what I'm going to ask them. But being the youngest one on the panel, I'll just ask them.
Gotcha.
Now, and speaking of that, there's a Facebook page for someone who says like a Oaklawn history or something like that, and I'm a part of it. You know, if there's ever someone who's going to do a documentary about the Dallas gay history, I have from when I moved to Dallas in '93. I have tape after tape after tape of the gay pride parades going out
really?
to
Do you know
the
who
drag
would want
shows.
those is UNT.
Yeah?
Because their LGBT archives are growing, and they are doing a wonderful job preserving our history.
Nice.
So
Speaking of UNT, I went because Candace is in school. She's going to school at UNT, and I go on Wednesdays just to sit down and write, outside of my zone. They had one of those preachers, like, how they have the student union, like the free speech area. And there were like two preachers, anti-gay preachers, like with a microphone, like preaching, how homosexuality is a sin. And I'm like, they still do this? I was like, I can't believe that they still do this. So of course I was walking by and I was like, we're here, we're queer, get used to it. And he was like, but you're not really queer. And I'm like, I am, deuces. But I got back and there was like a huge crowd formed, and somebody else had a microphone and they were bantering back and forth, and I can't believe that in 2017 that's still going on. It's crazy. I just want to share that little story with you because it's just crazy.
I wanted to warn people about Equifax.
Oh, yeah.
Equifax is one of the 3 credit agencies, and they had a huge security breach. And what they're asking you to do is go to their website to find out whether or not you were affected by it. 140-something million of they're calling them customers. I don't consider myself a customer of theirs. A customer is somebody, if I go to your business and do business with you because I've come to your business, that I'm your customer.
Right.
I'm not your customer because you stole my information and you have my credit information and can give me a credit rating. I don't consider myself their customer. If you go to their website, what they're going to do is have you check off something, and you're waiving your right to sue them. And you're signing up for their credit monitoring. And that's after they stole your information, and now their information on you that they stole in the first place has been stolen by somebody else. And they'll let you know if somebody else has stolen it, and if you have to watch out for it.
Right. Brandy, your stuff is being stolen, but sign this and you can't sue us, and then we'll tell you all about it.
Okay, here's the part of it that I love. An hour before this hacking was released, 3 of their executives apparently sold $2 million worth of stock.
I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it.
That's called insider trading.
Yeah,
and
it's illegal. But it's
I contacted somebody who I've had some other dealings with in the past. He's the Attorney General of New York, who actually, who's the one that I was working with on the ExxonMobil resolutions that went on for years and years until we had marriage equality, to find out, are they arrested yet?
Yeah, are they?
No. No. I mean,
Not
are you
yet.
surprised?
And
No,
they need
I'm
to
really
be.
not surprised.
No.
I'm really not surprised.
No.
But
They need to be, and they will be. This is the kind of thing that Martha Stewart went to prison for.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And with her, she was not an executive of that company even. She just got some insider information.
so why do you think it's taking too long? Why do you think it's taking this long?
Oh, I think it just came out today.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, so this just became public knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
Today.
Not the hacking part of
No,
it.
no,
The
no, I
hacking was
know,
earlier
but
in the week.
the trading.
The trading, yeah. That just came out.
Now, how did people know about this the hacking thing? I mean, who was the first person to
announced it.
Oh, that's
They
smart.
had to.
Yeah, they had-
They
yeah.
had to.
Oh, they
had
did?
to. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Otherwise, people's information that was being used by whoever hacked it, you're relying on these so-called credit agencies to report your information accurately, and if things are being stolen out of your bank account because of them,
right?
I mean, these companies need to be out of business as far as I'm concerned.
That's what I was about to ask you. In your opinion, do you think that that's the end of Equifax, or do you think that there's a way that they're going to fix this and put a little Band-Aid?
I was going to say there's more. There's more than
TransUnion.
Yeah, there's like 3 of these credit, quote unquote, credit companies. So if Equifax goes, there's still 2 more out there.
Yeah.
And somebody else will come along and form another one.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but they need to go. They just need to go. They're a danger to our credit. They're not protecting our credit. They're not doing us any favor. And I don't know how it's legal that they store my social security number, my credit card numbers, all of my information. I'm not sure how that's legal.
That's a good question, because
you probably sign something on the pages and pages of print that's this big.
That say that you're okay with it.
Credit card, yeah.
Oh.
Which you're not.
And even if you were to sign that and it's in fine print that you don't read, is that still legal?
Yes.
Yeah, because your name, you signed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you really should read all the fine print. But
I know that there were certain laws that were passed where they couldn't do that, where they were getting away with it. I think it was this $10 charge that I got for years and years of some free movie ticket from Fandango that I did. Mm-hmm. And in the fine print, it said, oh yeah, we're going to charge you until you cancel it. And I never knew that. And so they did this like class lawsuit, and I was a part of that. Uh-huh. And they said, yeah, they can't do that anymore. We've stopped it. But I don't know if that's a state thing or a federal thing, or I don't know.
Don't know.
I don't know.
That would be interesting to look into.
Yeah, that would be interesting to look into.
Well, your lawsuit, who filed the lawsuit?
It was an outside company that contacted me and said, we know that you are a member of this program, rewards program thing, and they're suing you for $10. I'm like, yes, I've always wondered what that was. And they're like, yeah, we're filing against them. And if you do, you would, it's pretty much a one case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. We're out of time for this segment.
Dang.
Huh. I'm Dave Taffet. I'm here with Brandy and Tori and Israel, and we have one more segment to go. I have 5 more topics to talk about.
Oh, dang.
In 2 minutes.
We'll be back with more. In 2 minutes, we'll be back with more right after this.
I was like, 5 times, that's like.
DVTV and Spayse. Israel has been drinking throughout the break.
You don't
That's
know
really
what's in
vodka in there.
Next week.
Yes, so we're super excited. We're going to do our first live DVTV. It's not going to be in Spayse. It's going to be at JR's Bar and Grill.
On location.
On location. And it's going to be the original OGs, I believe. Israel, Brad, myself, and Tammy.
If Brad's not too busy.
If Brad's not
She's
too
very
busy.
I'll be there.
And David. David's
there.
going to be there as well.
Tori,
so
you're welcome to come.
yes. But we're going to be live at JR's. So come by, say hi, be a part of the show.
2 hours.
2 hours. It's going to be Don't Panic first, and then we're going to have DVTV and Spayse following right after that.
Yeah. So if you're going to be out at JR's, you can walk behind us and wave at everybody, say hello to whoever you like, come say hello. And
I'm
Buy
sure
us
we'll interview some
cocktails.
people.
Yeah.
And
I
we'll-
like Cosmos.
And
We'll be giving away
t-shirts.
t-shirts like this with the campaign to start using rainbow community instead of LGBT.
Yeah, so come see us.
Yeah.
Has it gotten confusing for you with all of the letters and now the plus sign?
See, I
and-
told you there's a plus
Yeah.
sign. And wasn't there an asterisk? Isn't there an asterisk too?
Yeah. It's, well, sometimes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So,
Too confusing. I'm just still using LGBT because I have limited text space in the paper. I mean,
Try
the acronym
Try
would be
rainbow.
like one
Try
whole.
rainbow. It might work for you. Anytime you're about to use an LGBT, try rainbow. It
I like
works.
that. I like that.
Yeah.
Although with the rainbow now, people are adding colors to the rainbow to make it more inclusive.
Those colors are still a part of the rainbow.
they're still part of
so
the
you
rainbow.
can still say rainbow.
Yeah.
It works.
Okay, well, we'll do that. No, I won't. Join us next week at JR's. And
Yes.
this was fun.
Yes, it was,
Yeah,
David. Yay.
we'll see you next
See you
weekend.
next week. Live. That goes by. These shows go by so fast. So fast.